Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's Practice Accelerator Challenge. So excited to have you on. I'm one of your hosts, Annie Asher. I'm joined by our famous, fearless leader, Mr. Regan Archibald himself. Regan, how's it going?
It's going great. Yeah,
Yeah,
really good.
I know. Are you used to this time change already? It's so dark.
I like it because Jess and I are like old people. We go to bed at like 9, and so now we're like, oh, now we can go to bed even earlier.
That's how Josh and I are. I was like, I don't like the dark so early, but then I like the sunshine in the morning. But I go to bed
It's
at like 9 too. I'm just like, time to read and get cozy. So yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
get the most prolific in when the days are shorter because I don't feel like that urge to get outside as much, and so I work a ton on the weekends when the weather's crappy, like creative work, stuff that I really
yeah.
enjoy. And so this is actually really one of my favorite times of year. I think I've created the most new programs and generated the most amount of wealth for myself during the holidays when there's a lot of free time and when it's dark outside. So I'll take it.
I agree. I was just having this conversation. I'm like, sometimes all the sun and shiny weather and the long days is just too much pressure to get everything done.
It
And so,
feels that way.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, oh, I got to get outside. I got to do this. I got to work in the yard. I got to, like you just go, go, go. So I'm the same. I get a lot more creativity time, like when it's like this. So
Yeah. And we just started using Organifi. My wife got some like this chocolate mix and then this chai tea mix, and they put mushroom blends in it. But have you tried Organifi before? It's so damn good. I've heard people talk about it for a long time, and so we're like, "Oh, let's try it." And because one of our friends like it was like, "Try this tea," and I was like, "This is so good because it's like thick."
mhm.
And so this time of year, I love coffee, but you can only drink it at certain time. Well, I can only drink it at certain times of the day. But that tea is amazing. And then their chocolate blend is just to die for. So
Awesome.
little winter tip for everyone.
Little winter tip, get your Organifi. Well,
Yeah.
awesome. So we've got another wonderful wave of peptide questions queued up for you today, Reagan.
Cool.
Before we get started, if you have not registered for session 4, you have about 1 week left, and then you're not invited unless you come virtually. So uh, I'm laying down the law. So again, it will be held at the beautiful Midway Resort or the Zermatt Resort in Midway, Utah. December 2nd and 3rd. So we've got a beautiful lineup of team building, great business practice development for Friday. Saturday is going to be the peptide boot camp of the century. So if
Yeah.
you're that kind of thing, don't miss it. Don't miss it. Awesome.
And
Well,
I'll just so you guys know, I live like a half mile, literally is so close to Zermatt. And it's the most gorgeous place on the planet. There's hot springs all around it. It's got a pool that's natural hot springs, so it's natural water coming in. They kind of themed it after Switzerland, so it's got kind of a fun vibe to it, but just an amazing place. So if you have not registered and you're thinking, oh, I'll just do it virtual, you still have plenty of time to get your plane ticket. Come out and join us. We're going to have a party at my house. We're going to eat at one of my favorite restaurants in Midway one of the nights, and then we're going to have a party at my house. And I'm so excited for the party at my house because it's a house where when we went in, I'm like, this is perfect for Go Wellness. But it's just so far away from Salt Lake. So,
yeah,
but I think you guys will not regret it. So come hang out.
yeah, come hang out, learn about all the good stuff, and get ready for that peptide boot camp. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and the Peptide Boot Camp, for those of you who are there, you're going to get exclusive access to these incredible handouts to give to your patients. So it's going to really help them get educated fast so that they're going to be asking you all the time, like, hey, what about this peptide for stamina? Or what about the feeling great and looking your best peptides? Or what about, so we're going to show you how we're going to clump them into specific categories, and then it gives you a quick refresher, but it also is going to be somewhat of a handout you can give to your patients so that they can be a participant on this journey.
Definitely. And one thing I forgot to mention, we're also going to be deep diving into regenerative therapies. Dr. Mark Yanda is going to be going buck wild on the ozone ozone train. So
Yeah.
we're going to be talking ozone for the various microbiomes in the body, whether it's gut, vaginal, brain, even the skin microbiome. Like she's going
Yep.
to dive really deep into that. And then we can also talk, different things you can do, injections, IVs, you name it, just to help give you all those wonderful regenerative qualities. So
Yeah. And she's going to be covering the sexual wellness side of peptides, which
yes.
those are becoming very popular. And so if you don't quite know how to use those, you're going to get a front row seat. There's some amazing things. And then I'm going to reveal our oral only peptides, because I have a few patients who we just have them on oral peptides. And especially for some of you, if you don't have, prescriptive rights in your state, I'm going to be showing you in our boot camp exactly how you can start delivering peptides from over-the-counter sources that don't require a prescribing doctor working with you, and so you guys can just fast flow and start getting amazing results with your patients.
I love that. Awesome. Well, cool. Let's hop into some of these questions. It's great because I had a sexual peptide question come up in Kajabi this week. So let's start there. Why not? For men and women who want to try PT 141 for libido,
Yep.
Are you using the nasal spray or sub-Q injection?
99% of the time it's the nasal spray. It's just easier to administer. It takes about 20 or 30 minutes for it to kick in. So sometimes your patients are going to be like, it didn't work. And then I've had patients say, yeah, and then we just ended up like, oh, I guess it's not working. And so they ended up like making other plans, and then it kicked in the wrong place at the wrong time. So
Nobody wants that to happen.
we don't want to see your PDA. Okay. I mean,
Nope.
but yeah, so the nasal spray is absolutely the best. And if you want a little hack on the PT 141, add some oxytocin to that.
I had a question
And
about adding that in. So this is
oh,
great. Continue.
it's almost as if we planned for these questions, which we didn't. But yeah, the oxytocin. And it's really good to do like some nitric oxide, like eat some beets for dinner, some arugula. If I think having intentionality around sexuality, if you're in a monogamous relationship, it's so helpful to just be like, hey, Wednesdays and Sundays or when we're going to make love or whatever it is on the day of the week, but then you can prepare your physiology for it and have a so much better experience. It's funny because we think it needs to be all spontaneous, and we watch the movies and it's like you have the perfect moment and you bring flowers home, and now but actually, I mean, that's keep the romance alive. I'm not trying to talk that down. But what I'm saying is, if you can do some biohacking and plan in advance, you'll be so much better off for it. So oxytocin, nasal spray, PT 141 nasal spray, you can do those at the same time. And then a couple hours before, an hour before, eat some beets, nitric oxide, take some beet juice powder, or sarcotropin IPA is for you dudes. It's a really great way to boost the your virility. So that's another peptide you can use.
Nice. So that oxytocin question was, they were wondering what your route of administration was. So nasal spray is what your favorite way to administer that?
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. All right. There's one other sub question from this question. This doctor and her team have tried the 141. Like they're great. They love to experiment with different peptides. A lot of people, they tried with the sub-Q. A lot of people experience nausea with
Oh, yeah.
141. This doctor has tried it with Zofran and Reglan. Is this most people's experience? Is there any way to avoid that? You said use the nasal spray instead. Is that a different, do you have the same side effects with that?
Most people are going to have some slight nausea. The best way to circumvent that is BPC 157. So If you have some capsules, like integrated peptides with the BPC 157 pure that Kent Holtorf makes, those are great. You can also just get some BPC 157 and do an injection or take an oral, and that really helps mitigate a lot of the nausea. And the nasal spray is going to be about 20% less. You're going to have 20% fewer side effects versus a sub-Q.
Hey everybody, Regan Archibald here. I hope you enjoyed the Go Wellness show and maybe learned a couple things you could apply to your practice. If you're a healthcare entrepreneur who wants to work in an academic think tank with like-minded humans who are just like you, looking to provide better service, better quality of care for your patients, reach us at info@gowellness.com and we're happy to do a free practice analysis for you.